Why does everybody stand up, give somebody a hug next to you so I can stall for a second? We talk about unity, so get to know somebody next to you. Take about 30 seconds, real quick. Passionate about? Something I'm passionate about? Shh. Anybody passionate about being alive?
Yes.
All right, 2 people, that's good. Start. The rest of you, there'll be counseling afterward. Outside. Well, let me start off with a little video that actually explains when my wife and I started about 3 years ago when everyone thought we were crazy, leaving a full-time job during the booming economy back in 2009. And we started a nonprofit called the Radiance Foundation. This video explains just a little bit about what we do. Girl's voice. Anybody here a mommy or daddy?
What?
Yeah, you're a little biased towards your own kids.
Right.
I am too. That's my little girl, Haley Radiance Bomberger, who was actually the inspiration for our organization. There's a reason behind all that. She is the reason why my wife's life was revolutionized. When you find yourself in an unexpected pregnancy, you're told by the abortion industry and most liberals that the only possible outcome of an unplanned pregnancy is misery. But my wife's unplanned pregnancy with Haley Radiance transformed her life. And so she is proof that sometimes the best things in life are unplanned.
Yeah.
So that's why my wife and I started the Radiance Foundation. In addition to my own little story, as I mentioned, we are a 501c3 organization. My name is Ryan Bomberger, which is very common in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Anybody knows anything about whoopie pies, apple dumplings, and ham loaf? Anybody ever been to Lancaster County yet?
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yes. You haven't lived unless you've eaten a whoopie pie, just saying. But we started the Radiance Foundation. We wanted to be able to address a myriad of social issues, and as a creative director, I've worked in the ad agency world for quite a long time. Decided to leave that and devote my talents and abilities, my wife's talents and abilities as an educator, in trying to tackle some of the most comfortable social issues. So as you can see, here's some of the topics that we address. The billboard there in the middle we put in the conservative bastion of San Francisco Bay Area. Got a really positive response from media there. Designed to Create is, as a creative professional, I love trying to harness the creative abilities of those who always wonder, what can I do with this talent? And I think as designers, it's not about just making a pretty picture. It's not about just putting together some cool typography and some cool color schemes. It's about creating opportunities for people to be free. And so we hold these workshops with creative folks from every background, whether you're a writer, photographer, a motionographer like I am, pop culture, social justice, which is kind of a mockery of social justice. We hear so much about social justice so much. Justice doesn't even need a qualifier, by the way. Either it's right or it's wrong. But social justice is our effort in our local area to get people to stop talking about it and do it. So the motto there is less talk, more walk. The social injustice of abortion. We speak on college campuses all across the country. Superhero. I don't know if you can read from there, but it says changing the world one diaper at a time. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Oh, and even man said it pretty proudly, yes. We changed, I don't know how many diapers have changed in my lifetime. The History Project, Our Freedom, has been revised. And that's a project that I'm almost finished getting ready to reveal. I was inspired by something that I read on Democrats.org. This is about a year and a half ago. They've now removed it. But under the Civil Rights tab, it said Democrats led every civil rights fight in America. That's what it said verbatim.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I guess you can get away with saying whatever you want when you don't have the mainstream media that ever scrutinizes a word that comes from you. So these are some of the topics that we address through the Radiance Foundation. Now this is a motley crew. It's my motley crew that I grew up in. I'm from a small little American family, of 15, 6 brothers, 6 sisters. We kind of are reflective of the United Nations in a way, just without the corruption. Actually, there's a whole lot of fighting, so I guess there would be some corruption in there. But we have white, black, white and biracial, black, Native American, Vietnamese, and all one family. Started with my mother, who was abandoned by her alcoholic father, and made a promise to God when she was temporarily placed in an orphanage to be a mommy to those who didn't have one.
Wow.
So I fulfilled that promise. Starting with me, I was the first one. Everything went great, apparently. They adopted 9 more. And so this was the Bomberger family. And it's now grown. They now have 30 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren. My 4 children aren't pictured here. This is a few years ago. I have 4 awesome little kids, 2 of which are adopted. So you can say that being pro-life is part of my DNA. It's what I grew up in. I grew up seeing parents living out, not just talking about it, but living out the book of James. They lived out their lives mostly anonymously, serving the community, loving people, never being judgmental, and pouring their lives into others, regardless of their background. Obviously, they pour their lives into us. They're the pro-lifers that you hear about all the time. They don't care about children once they're born. You mean the ones who adopted 10 children, who educated them, who loved them, who nurtured them, who disciplined them, some more than others, I must admit, who discipled them, and who let purpose be unleashed in each one of our lives. These are the pro-lifers that get maligned all the time. So I want to explain to you what I'm going to talk about and the gravity of this issue that is inextricably tied to so many other social issues. This is one of those issues that you can't just give lip service to, because every time you just mouth the words, another life is taken away and extinguished by abortion. Every single day. Thousands extinguished. 1.21 million in a year, and as you saw there, 55 million since Roe v. Wade. This is the legacy of empowerment, if you will, of Roe v. Wade. And so when you think about 55 million, it's hard to conceive of that number. Put together most of our major cities, and it would outnumber the inhabitants in all those cities. And so here we are, 55 million less, 55 million beautiful possibilities less, and we're at a major crossroads because we have an administration that, how shall I say, is hell-bent on promoting abortion in every way, shape, or form. So what we wanted to do through the Radiance Foundation was to address this issue. So we launched an initiative called TooManyAborted.com. It was a billboard and web initiative. And as Northerners, I'm from Pennsylvania originally, we understood the depth of the issues and the difficulty of the issues, but we decided we're going to combine 2 of the most difficult issues, if you will, abortion and race. Combine them in the South, in Atlanta to be exact, and we placed 80 billboards around the Atlanta area, thanks to funding from Georgia Right to Life, who financed the billboards, and working with a great friend of ours, Catherine Davis. If you don't know who she is, just Google her. She is a pro-life warrior. She is amazing. And as a result of putting these billboards up, there was a mainstream media explosion. And this is what I love, because they didn't know what to do with me. They didn't know what to do with someone who's adopted, who had a story that they couldn't demonize, who was as black as Obama. So what they did, this is how the NPR took care of it. NPR interviewed me for 45 minutes. I thought, this is the longest interview. Because I could tell, sometimes when you get interviewed, you can tell someone's searching, they're digging, this should have ended 30 minutes ago. But I realized why. When the 4-piece on All Things Considered aired, I created the campaign, our organization launched the campaign. It's a pro-adoption themed campaign, but you don't see or hear a word about me whatsoever. Wow. So they had 3 pro-abortion perspectives and 1 pro-life perspective, which was Catherine Davis. And that's how mainstream media handled that. But our campaign was covered by a lot of different outlets: USA Today, CNN, MSNBC, ABC World News. It was unbelievable. And what I found was just remarkable. This is one of the first billboards: black children are endangered species, too-many-aborted.com. More endangered by death by abortion than any other racial demographic. In fact, today, up to 6 times more than the majority population. Black and beautiful, because that's a racist billboard right there. The 13th Amendment freed us, abortion enslaves us. These were part of our Juneteenth billboards, and my favorite, fatherhood